Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. I hope you're all having a wonderful and creative day. And I am back today with a quick little video. Going to be using up some scraps. So I pulled some out already, but I just want to show you my little bucket. All right, so we are going to make a quilted tag. Now, I saw this project on a short little reel. I can't remember if it was on YouTube or Facebook. But it was by True Joy Home and Studio. True Joy Home and Studio. If I could find their channel, I'll try to link it down below. But again, it was one of those quick 30-second. I just don't remember if it was on Facebook or YouTube. It was during my sick period when I was a bit foggy. Sorry, I had a cough. Okay, still coughing. Still can't taste anything. I'm not sure if this is ever going to go away, to be honest with you. But I am feeling a little bit better, a little bit perkier, so that's good. All right, so we're going to start with some scraps. Like I said, I pulled some out already. I pulled thinner papers. Oops, forgot one. To do the quilting look for it. So I'm starting with thinner. And then I just have a little backing here. It's, I don't even know what you want to call it. I got a pad of it from Temu. It's just really thin paper, but it makes a good base for this to glue these on. So I wanted to start with that, but you probably could use another piece of scrapbooking paper. I started this, and it is 3 1/4 by, if I could do math, 6 1/2. And it's just random that I cut from it. There was no particular reason, but I did want to make it tag shaped. Okay, so basically all I'm going to do is going to glue these down as strips and almost kind of masterboard it. I'm thinking you probably could make masterboards and do this and cut them into whatever shape you want and then do the quilting for it. But I'm going to start with the shape and just add stuff as we go. And some of the stuff is a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Now, when I watched it on that True Home channel, she had taken pieces of paper and she ripped them to give them a rough edge. But I'm thinking that, you know, if you were making like a quilt, it wouldn't have the rough edge with the paper. So I decided to go with straight ones here. I think I'll make this a little thinner. So I decided to go with straight instead of ripping them. But if you run across her channel, you'll see that she ripped them to work it. But I decided to go straight. I am butting them up to the one before it, not overlapping it, so it is one level thickness. And go from there. Now I did pick ones that are kind of color coordinated a little bit, but I'm guessing you could kind of just go whatever colors you want, make like a scrappy looking quilt. That would be an option. All right, so we want to keep shades of all those colors. Probably could have thinned that out a little bit, that's okay. All right, finish with that. Finish with that. Let's finish with that. All right, now, the way she did it is she had an embossing folder that had a quilted look. I do not have an embossing machine, folders, anything. So I have figured out a way to make a quilted look without any embossing machine. Now, if I recall correctly, again, in a fog, she did this quilted look, which I will show you. And, oh, that's not even on there. And then embossed it again with like a floral look, which was very pretty. Again, don't have that. But I have an ability to make stitches and lines to make something look quilted. Okay, so we have the tag, and we're going to go ahead and cut it on this side to make it more manageable to work with. Now, it is pretty thin, but I still can follow along the edge of it pretty well to cut these little excess pieces off. Now, if you don't want to waste scraps, you could probably cut it pieces your exact width that you want, but I am fine with using up scraps and getting rid of them. These are too tiny. And as you saw, I have a bucket, and that is just one of 5 buckets because I have them sorted by size. All right, didn't use any of those. Okay, now I am going to tag shape it. So we're gonna, I think, go like that and flip it to the other side and tag shape this size. And this is gonna also help with the quilting part of our program. Okay, so now we have a lovely, lovely tag. And it is pretty thin, so I probably will end up taking some sort of harder card and glue it in the end, but I'm going to quilt it first before I do that because I like it, I want it thinner. Okay, so the quilting part is going to involve my scoreboard. All right, I'm gonna quilt from the back and I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna use this angle to help me make my straight lines. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do them every 1/2 inch. So we're gonna start with 2 inches. And I don't know if I got a 1/2 inch here. I do have a 1/2 inch. And we're gonna go 1/2 inch here. And we're just gonna go every 1/2 inch. All right, try not make it slip. And we'll go from here. I hope your day is going well. Oops, don't slide. I am actually filming this on Sunday. I got up at 7 o'clock my time to watch the hockey game, US versus Canada. I had to watch it live. I mean, I didn't have to, but I thought if I don't want to find out the score later, it's not one of my favorite things to do. I'm just going to turn around so I got more of a right-hand thing. All right, there is 4. I didn't want to find out the score and then have to watch it on tape. I will do some things on tape, but I thought this was a little bit more important. So I am quite happy that I got up to watch them win. Yay! Very exciting. Okay, so we got the one side done. Now you could finish that and say that that is quilted, but I'm going to quilt the other direction. So again, we're going to use our angle to score the other direction. And we're going to start with this corner, and we'll start with 5. I'll go back the other way in a bit. And we're going to go through. Now, if you want to make it a little bit less quilty, you could probably do 1 every inch. So like if you had 3, and then 2, but the, oops, jumped over. But that's a bit wide for me. I like it. I like the 1/2 inch. I think it looks a little bit better. All right, so now we need to line it up this way. Try to get it straight. All right, there's the 4. Beautiful. And we'll finish the rest of them here. And we have one more step after this to make the front look more quilted. And whoops, jumped a rail. Could almost straighten it back out again. Okay, so it might be hard to see, but you can see that there is a bit of the quilting. But what you can do is then go ahead and ink this. So I'm going to take, which one is this? I never seem to have the lid nearby. Ground espresso. I'm going to take ground espresso, and I'm going to brush on top of the quilting. I'm going to try to go not even or with the stripes. I'm going to try to go as much as I can against them. So since these are going this way, I'm going to go, whoops, up and down. And the ink is gonna catch on the raised parts of the quilting. So it is gonna give a stitched look. Now like this line right here, I don't see it very well. It's not very strong. So if you need to go back, and it is this one right here, and you want to go back and give it a bit more of a push. So it catches. You can go ahead and do that. All right, so now you can totally see where the stitching was. Cute, right? All right, so like I said, this is a bit floppy because it was a pretty weak back. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get something stiffer and I'm going to attach it to that. Now, I don't want the blue on the back necessarily, so I'm going to glue it to the blue side so the white is on the back. And I am just going to use some of this. I am not going to try to push too hard because I don't want to lower the divots that are there. But we're going to do our best to put stuff on everything. I had pre-measured that piece of scrap paper, this one, to make sure that it was short enough to fit on this 6.5. I could have made the tag longer like this, and then end up cutting it down, but I didn't want to necessarily waste that. So I'm just gonna trim this down, and we are gonna have a stiffer card. And the back is now writable. It doesn't have the bumps on the back because of that. So it makes it a little bit more sturdy and easier to write on. But yet this side is fun and quilted. Cute, right? All right, well, I think I want to make a second one, and I got maybe some brighter colors here to make a second one. And let's see how that will turn out. And I'm wondering if we should make it sideways to make it more like a pocket. Yeah, let's do that. So we need to make this, oh, what, about 5 inches wide? So let's trim that down. Question is, do I have stuff wide enough for that? That'll work. That'll work. We can have that go that way. That'll work. Actually, that'll work good. Yeah, that'll be perfect. I kind of wanted to use that, but the numbers would go sideways. I don't want sideways numbers. Do I? No, I don't. Okay, let's go with that. Let's see how far we can get on this one and go from there. Let's cut this. Try to make it a little bit straighter. So you definitely can just use up a bunch of scraps, that is for sure. Like I said, these are pretty much all, a lot of these are digitals, so they're very thin copier paper, maybe some scrapbook papers. Now my guess is if you had something a little bit thicker, you could probably use it, but you'd probably have to press a little harder when you wanted to use the embossing trick. Okay, there we go. And I've lost my sheet. There it is. All right. I definitely want to use, we'll start with that. We'll do that. All right, we'll go from there. Might need to cut these down a little bit more. Getting a little gooey. There we go. And I probably could just add the glue to the back of the paper too, but this way I know I'm getting every inch of this background. I seem to have lost the pieces that I wanted to use. I guess they're just all wider than I thought they were. Okay. Not wide enough. I'm gonna go with it. I do like the numbers, and just because they're sideways, that is okay. We're gonna deal with it. I'm gonna cut this after I put it down. There we go. Save that for another project. Okay, so now for this one, I am not going to be putting the corners on like the tag. So I'm going to have to determine the cross hatching for it. Going to have to guess the angle kind of arbitrarily. But again, we are going to start it from the back just to make it more angular. All right, let's angle 2 to 3. And I think we'll still go with the 1/2 inch. I like that size. Oops. Got my finger in the way. All right, once again, we're gonna line the top to the bottom. And oops, we gotta start with an even. All right, there's 5 and 4.5. So yeah, so if you got one of those embossing folders with the lattice kind of grid on there and make your life a lot easier. And you can just go ahead and run it through an embossing machine. I still think, and I don't have an embossing machine, but I'm still thinking the thinner, you're going to get a better impression. But my guess is you can kind of get away with a little bit thicker in an embossing machine because it is stronger. Okay, so we have my guess is we want to make it perpendicular. Maybe, or maybe not. Hard to tell. All right, 1/2 inch starts there, and 1 inch. Now I do have a red line in here that goes at the 2.5. I marked it for something, which makes it a little bit easier to see where it goes. So if you have a line that you use a lot, marking it probably not the worst thing in the world to do. To be able to go and mark the top and then the bottom, and you know it's in the right groove, so you can keep going fairly quickly when you need to shift this when you can't really put it against a wall. Okay, all right, so you can see the back is all nice and rib, and we got the front. All right, let's get this inked up. Now you probably could use any color you wanted to do this. I, pretend like they're stitching would be my guess. And I wonder, as I say that, I have this beautiful green over here that probably has a ton of ink on there. And a lot of those sponges sit over there after they're used once, and the ink still sits in the sponge. We'll put a little blue on there. Lovely. I love it. So, again, a pocket. Be able to I don't think it really matters which side is up or down on this. So we're just going to make this side the up. And there you go. Put some sort of decoration, some sort of label, something fun on there, and you have a nice pocket. Now I probably should back this one too, just to give it some strength, because it is a bit flimsy for a pocket. We'll go this way now. All right, let's throw some glue on here, and we can call this project done. Yeah, no, I'm gluing the whole thing. I freaked just a second. I'm thinking I'm gluing a pocket down fully, but no, I'm not. I'm gluing the backing onto the pocket. So when I want to glue the pocket down, it is stronger. I will have to recut out that thumb hole, but that's okay. yeah, that's definitely so much better to make as a pocket. All right, let's redo the thumb hole. Beautiful. I love it. I lost my cap. Oh, it's orange. So the orange scissor handle threw it off. All right. Well, that's a fun way to use some scraps up, huh? Okay. Let's take a look at those. Cute, right? Nice fun little tag. A little bit of raised feel right in the back. Fun little pocket. Doesn't matter what color it is because it's going to be glued down for a pocket. And there you go. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. I got a little dirty today, but that is okay. Well, I guess that is going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.